Your brain is the most powerful organ in your body. It controls everything you do, everything you feel, everything you think. It is supposed to be on your side, but what if I told you that your brain has been lying to you every single day, and you have no idea it's happening? Right now, as you're watching this, your brain is filtering information, bending your memories, and manipulating your decisions using invisible shortcuts that you cannot see and you cannot control. Scientists call them cognitive biases, and once you learn about them, you will never trust your own mind the same way again. These are 7 psychological tricks your brain uses against you every day. Number 7. The anchoring effect. Let me show you how easily your brain can be manipulated with a single number. Imagine you walk into a store and you see a jacket with a price tag that says $500. Right next to it, there is a sign that says, "On sale, $200. Instantly, you think that's a great deal. You might even buy it. But here's the trick. That jacket was never worth $500. The store put that high number there on purpose because your brain uses the first piece of information it receives as an anchor. Everything after that is judged relative to that anchor. The $500 tag made $200 feel cheap. Without that anchor, you might have looked at the same jacket for $200 and thought it was too expensive. This happens everywhere. In salary negotiations, the first number thrown out shapes the entire conversation. In restaurants, the most expensive item on the menu makes everything else look reasonable. Your brain doesn't evaluate things objectively. It evaluates them relative to whatever it saw first. And anyone who knows this can control what you think is fair, cheap, or expensive. Number 6. Confirmation bias. This one is probably the most dangerous bias on this list, and the hardest one to escape. Confirmation bias is your brain's tendency to seek out, remember, and believe information that supports what you already think, and to ignore or dismiss anything that contradicts it. Think about it. When you have an opinion about something, do you search for evidence that proves you wrong? Almost nobody does. Instead, you look for proof that you are right. Your brain literally filters reality to make you feel correct. This is why 2 people can look at the exact same news story and walk away with completely opposite conclusions. Their brains are selecting different facts from the same information. And social media makes it even worse. Algorithms feed you content that matches your existing beliefs, creating what scientists call an echo chamber. Your feed becomes a mirror that only reflects your own opinions back at you. The scariest part? You will never feel like this is happening. Confirmation bias is completely invisible to the person experiencing it. You genuinely believe you are being objective. That is the trick. Number 5. The spotlight effect. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like everyone was staring at you? Maybe you had a stain on your shirt, or your hair looked weird, or you said something awkward. Here's the truth. Almost nobody noticed. This is called the spotlight effect. It's the tendency to believe that other people are paying far more attention to you than they actually are. In a famous study at Cornell University, researchers asked students to walk into a room wearing an embarrassing t-shirt. The students estimated that about half the room noticed. The actual number? Less than 25%. Your brain puts you at the center of every scene, so you assume everyone else sees what you see. But in reality, most people are too busy worrying about themselves to notice you at all. Every time you replay an embarrassing moment in your head, convinced that everyone remembers it, just know, your brain is exaggerating. The spotlight isn't nearly as bright as you think. Number 4. Loss aversion. What hurts more? Losing $100 or finding $100? Logically, they should feel equal, but they don't. Losing $100 feels roughly twice as painful as finding $100 feels good. Your brain processes losses about 2 times more intensely than equivalent gains. This is called loss aversion, and it was discovered by Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman. It explains an enormous amount of human behavior. It's why people hold on to terrible investments, hoping they will recover instead of cutting their losses. It's why you stay in a bad relationship, because the fear of being alone feels worse than the reality of being unhappy. It's why free trials work so well. Once you have something, losing it feels unbearable. Companies know this. That's why they offer you something for free first and then threaten to take it away. Your brain screams, "Don't let go," even when logic says it's not worth paying for. Your brain didn't evolve to make you happy. It evolved to keep you alive. And for survival, avoiding danger is more important than seeking reward. So your brain made losses hurt more than gains feel good. Useful in the wild, terrible for modern life. Number 3, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Here's an uncomfortable truth. The less you know about something, the more confident you are likely to feel about it. This is the Dunning-Kruger effect, named after two psychologists who ran a now legendary experiment. They tested people on grammar, logic, and humor, then asked them to estimate how well they did. The results were almost comical. The people who scored the lowest estimated that they performed above average. Meanwhile, the people who scored the highest actually underestimated their performance. Why? Because when you don't know much about a subject, you also don't know enough to realize what you're missing. You literally don't know what you don't know. So you feel confident. But the more you learn, the more you realize how much there is to understand. And your confidence actually drops. This explains so much about the world. It's why the loudest voice in the room is often the least informed. It's why beginners give advice more freely than experts. And it's why true mastery usually comes with humility. Next time you feel absolutely certain about something, ask yourself, am I actually knowledgeable, or am I just at the peak of Mount Stupid? Number 2, the illusory truth effect. If I told you right now that goldfish have a 3-second memory, you would probably believe me. Most people do. But it's completely false. Goldfish can remember things for months. So why does everyone believe it? Because they've heard it repeated over and over and over again. And that is the illusory truth effect in action. Your brain uses familiarity as a shortcut for truth. The more times you hear something, the easier it is for your brain to process it. And your brain interprets that ease of processing as a sign that the information is correct. This means that a lie repeated enough times starts to feel like a fact. This is one of the oldest tricks in propaganda. Repeat a message enough and people will start to believe it, even if they were originally skeptical. It works in advertising, in politics, in social media, and in everyday conversations. And here's the most disturbing finding. Studies have shown that repetition can make people believe false statements even when they were told those statements were false beforehand. Your brain literally chooses familiarity over facts. And in a world where the same headlines, the same claims, the same sound bites are repeated thousands of times a day, this bias is more dangerous than ever. Number 1, the bias blind spot. And finally, the most terrifying cognitive bias of all. The one that makes every other bias on this list so powerful. It's called the bias blind spot. And it is the belief that you are less biased than other people. When you hear about cognitive biases, your first thought is usually, interesting. I can see how other people fall for that. Not you, though. You're too smart. You're too rational. You would notice. Except you wouldn't. That's the whole point. Studies at Carnegie Mellon University found that over 85% of people believe they are less biased than the average person, which is statistically impossible. The bias blind spot is the master bias. It protects all the other biases by convincing you that they don't apply to you. It's the lock on the door of your own self-awareness. You can memorize every single bias on this list. You can study them. You can teach them to others. And your brain will still use them against you tomorrow. Because the one thing your brain is better at than anything else is convincing you that your brain is trustworthy. And that might be the greatest trick it ever pulled. So there you have it. 7 psychological tricks your brain uses against you every single day. Your own mind is both your greatest tool and your most skilled manipulator. Which one surprised you the most? And now that you know about these, do you think you can actually fight them? Let me know in the comments. If you want more mind-blowing facts like this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We drop new videos every week. See you in the next one.